the concept of shooting. Anything in particular you paid attention to? And this is, I'll ask this question, the second question later.
All right, thank you for your question and your feedback. Well, first of all, I think the aspect ratio, the 4:3 aspect ratio, I work on it like through all my short films. The beginnings of this practice was purely economical to start. Because I don't have access, as a Singaporean in Taiwan, I don't have access to public funding for my short films. And when you do 4:3, so when I say economical, it's because I have less of a set to dress. You should just see less of the screen, right? But also because I work with non-actors a lot. So I think when you have a frame like that's, I would say, more narrow, more tight, I think you can allow the audience, whoever is watching it, to be really focused on them. And every micro reactions or emotions that they display is actually there if one chooses to engage with the film in this particular way. So later on, I think it was really just trying out over the last 15 years, trying and see what was moving about it to me. And in this case with Mongrel, I think when you look at it from a thematic point of view, all these people, the caregiver, May, the mother, the son, his boss, all of them are trapped in the middle. There really isn't a bad guy here, right? There are needs, there are wants, and all of them are trapped in the middle. So that kind of became the overarching visual thematic for this film. As for color and warmth, sorry, do I stop here for you to, is it okay?
It's okay.
Okay. So with color and warmth, I think we really decided that the warmth is always going to come in the interior of the house. And in winter, a lot of families have heater fans. And old ones like those, like the ones you see in the film, suggest a certain time period. And also, that glow that it has, I think it's pretty representative. The outside world is colder, but inside there's warm. And I think we kind of built around that. So everything outside leads to that particular warmth that we see in May's house. So complementary, I would say, to this approach. Yeah.
まず画角のことですけれども、4対3にするというのは短編時代からやってきたことですね。これは経済的な理由ということが言えます。公的な資金の助成というのが短編映画で受け入れられなかったので、こう4対3でタイトな感じにすると、あまり後ろのセットとか背景を作り込む必要がないので、いろいろと手間がかからないということと、あと私は素人をですね起用することが多いので、タイトにピシッと入ると見ている人のフォーカスが、そこに行って感情だったりとかそういったものに、見ている人が気持ちを共感をしたりということがしやすいという、ことが、実は背景にあります。で15年、ほど、こうやって映画に関わっている中で、何がやっぱり人にアピールする訴えるんだろうかと考える中で、本作であったら、オウム、母親、息子、ボス、みんな真ん中にいる、つまり板挟みになっているわけですよね。で悪い人は誰もいないんです。みんななぜそうしているか、その立場上の都合があるわけですね。ですから、それを表すのに適していると思いました。そして色味なんですけれども、温かみというものを出すことを考えていました。外で冬は寒いけれども家の中は暖かい。あと家を見るとかなり年季が入っている感じが分かったりとか、あとほんのりと暖かい感じが外の寒さとの対比が際立つという狙いがあります。The second part of the question is you mentioned, well, it's a social sort of backdrop, but it has a feel of film noir. So we'd like to learn any directors or film that you were influenced by.
Well, I would say it's a noir film, does in terms of the schematics visually, it does suggest a noir element to it. But you could also say that it's a horror film, right? I think it was one of the two scariest things in the world is being poor and being sick. So to a certain extent, I would say it wouldn't be wrong to call this a horror film either. But in terms of influences, I think when I was young, of course, the new wave, the films of Wu Xiaoxian, Eric Yang, 10 Million, and of course a lot of the new wave veterans informed me. But when making my short films all the way up to Mongrel, I would say, if every film I did, I was just trying to recall back the moment that I experienced Ozu for the first time. You're just, when you see the character on the screen, just looking towards you, but to try and adapt it to my need for the film. But I don't think I did a lot of over the back or across the shoulder. There's always a direct gaze at the audience. I think that's something that I would say Ozu. That's something I really, really admire in his films. The way he stages it. And of course, director Wang Bing with all his documentaries. Pedro Acosta, well, for one, in Vanda's Room was very, very impactful for me when I first started out, just to name a few. But do you have any? Do you want to say? Whatever I watch, she watches too. So, yeah, thank you for your question.
フィルムノワールの雰囲気を示唆もしていますが、ホラー映画とも言えるかもしれません。貧困と病というのは、最も恐ろしいもの、と言えますよね。で、影響ということでは、その若い時にやはり台湾ニューウェーブ、ホウ・シャオシェン、エルワード・ヤン、ツァイ・ミン・リャンに憧れていました。ただ短編を作る時にですね、私は、考えていたのは、小津安二郎映画を初めて見たような感覚を忘れないでいたいなということです。やっぱり登場人物たちがまっすぐに見つめる、その、視線といったことですね。その小津的な感じというのを、念頭に置いていたと思います。もちろん、その手法とあとやっぱり